I find it very interesting that there are a lot of dogs in chapter 1137, and the Yamato cover story is going on at the same time. So, I'm starting to think that there is a very interesting connection between Yamato and the deities that were brought up again from Skypiea here in this chapter once we get to the mural. So we have a deity of the sea, a deity of the land, a deity of the forest, and a deity of the sun. We know the deity of the sun to be Nika, but as it said in the second world, within the void there was breath. The forest deity tamed demons, and the sun spread the fires of war. Those of the half moon dreamed, those of the moon dreamed. Man killed the sun and became deities themselves, and the sea deities stormed. They will not meet again. So, with that being said, I'm starting to think that the forest deity could be the holder of the dog fruit motto Okuchi no Makami. So Yamato's fruit. And the reason why I say this is because I find it very interesting. Out of all the Zoans that we have seen in the story, she is the only one who has a Hagoromo despite not being awakened. How do I know she's not awakened? Well, we have seen her as a child now, both in her hybrid and full beast forms, and even then she has a Hagoromo. So, with that being said, I will make the claim that even now she is not awakened. That the Hagoromo is just a part of the fruit initially, which is quite interesting, especially seeing as how we see an awakened supposed dog fruit user with a Haragamo in Cerberus in this chapter. Just find the parallels very interesting there. But what's also very interesting about the mural is that we see a wolf-like figure between the whale and the dragon-like figure. This dog wolf figure, it could be a mink going Sulong. That's very true. But seeing as how there's another little animal guy further down by the giant and the mermaid princess, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is not a Sulong mink, but this is the user of the mythical dog fruit, Okuchi no Makami. With that being said, it is very interesting thinking about it now that Yamato has fought the incarnation of a forest before. And during the cover story now, she is currently in the place affected by that forest man. In chapter 1054, however, some of the scabbards and then Yamato, followed by Momonosuke, confront Marine Admiral Aramaki, otherwise known as Green Bull. However, it's very interesting what he says when he activates his woods fruit using the ability called flexing forest muscle. He said, the forest fruit made me a forest man, or the woods fruit made him a woodsman. In being a incarnation of the forest, his Logia power is nature incarnate, a source of life that rivals the seas. So in this demonstration of power, he is claiming that he rivals the power of the sea. So I find it interesting that in this confrontation, Yamato ends up fighting him and then returns to the place that he affects, which is Udon. So I'm just saying that there could be a connection here, because how likely is it that we would get to a mural talking about the forest deity, which then follows a figure who appears to be a white wolf, much like Yamato's wolf and hybrid forms. Very interesting indeed. But not only that, it's very interesting that in One Piece, only Luffy's fruit and Yamato's fruit are given a very distinct deification amongst all other mythical Zoans, because only these two fruits are seen to have a sort of specialty with particular cultures in One Piece. Even though Nika is known the world over, apparently, according to Saul in this very chapter, it seems as though it has a special relationship with giant associated races, namely the Giants of Elbaf and then Buccaneers, who are said to have giant's blood. Then, of course, Yamato's fruit represents the deity of Wano. Now, in the real world, there are various statues and legends associated with the wolf that Yamato becomes. In a legend about Yamato Tankaru, which is the name of the character we're talking about and the name of her weapon, there is a story about this prince named Yamato Tankaru who was of the Yamato dynasty who was guided through the mountains forest by a wolf. So that could be a possible reference or nod to Yamato having the power of the forest deity. So it could turn out that she, like Nika, is not only important to a certain culture, but is important to the world over. I could see that being a thing. But with that being said, we'll have to see more information as it comes out in the future. But I do think with this mural, we're looking at a possibility of Yamato being a Straw Hat crew member in the future of the main crew. That's what I think, because things are getting very heavy as we move forward, and it's very, very obvious that Yamato is important. But with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. What?